Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this session. We are joined for this session by Marcel Guevara, who is the Vice President of EHS at ASI. Marcel is an EHS professional with more than 25 years of experience leading organizations to achieve excellent EHS performance. And his area of experience covers all aspects of EHS management, including the design and development of compliance and management systems, audit programs, and ensuring a cycle of continuous improvements. And he's got experience in multiple jurisdictions in America, Europe, and Africa, as well as across industries such as oil and gas, mining, construction, and manufacturing. Since he joins ASI, he's dedicated to identifying the challenges that EHS professionals are facing in their day-to-day work development to develop AI advanced solutions that can facilitate and improve their work as well as performance. Marcel is a certified environmental professional and a compliance environmental auditor by the Canadian Environmental Certification Approvals Board and a Canadian registered safety professional by the Board of Canadian Safety Professionals. So Marcel, I'll hand it over to you to take us through that through the session.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Malavika. Having this a pretty good session so far. I've been enjoying from our previous panelists and from your Bill and your introduction early in the morning. It's an honor to be joining today here, and definitely I really want to base on my presentation, my demo, with some statements that you and Bill said early this morning. That's right. So it's just that taking out of the human into the plight of AI, or the movie show that you presented early this morning. Definitely, it's nothing far from the reality of what is AI. In AI, I'm extremely pleased that we are helping professionals. We are not removing professionals. We are still in a process that what we are doing is facilitating the process of that very tedious work, in our case, which is extracting environmental health and safety requirements out of documents. So again, we are helping. And I hear also from our previous panelists, from Brian, using the words enhance and improve multiple times. And that's exactly what AI is doing. That's right. It's not replacing, it's just helping. And with that, as I say, with many years in career of environmental health and safety, I love how AI is helping these days my colleagues in the area, all of you in the audience. So what I'm going to show you today is a little demo. It's just that showing how the machine is working there, how the machine learning and how all this process that we have developed for you is able to help you to extract those documents. We are working with very, very long documents. We have hundreds of pages permits or legislation that is extremely long and complex. What we are doing and where the machine is going to do that is basically a scan through the entire document. It's analyzing, it's looking at reading every single sentence in your documents, and then it's implementing the criteria that we have developed based on multiple environmental health and safety professionals that we interview and help us to develop this platform. And basically at the end, you will have the extraction, which is exactly the requirements that you need to be doing, your recommendations, actions. And it's all going to be very standardized. It's going to be very well organized from the documents to facilitate your implementation processes. So let's jump here to our platform. As soon as you log in here, basically you can access every single of the documents that you have in your folder, in your PDF, and you can extract. You can drag and drop even from an email if you get the permit right away. If you are within the US, you can access right away all the electronic Code of Federal Regulations, and you can extract everything from there right away. And finally, you will keep all your documents in your library here. So for this demo here, we will process in a short document. So you go to your folder here and you open, and basically you get the document here. Everything of your PDF, you can see the pages that you are going to be processing. You can scan through those. You can select if you only want to do a rate a range of page. Imagine you have a 100-page permit and you only want to work with one of the sections, your wastewater section, your air section, you can select it there. You will select the type of document if you are working with a permit, a regulation, or plan, or procedure. And the machine right now, the platform, it was originally designed in English, but we have created training data out of 5 different languages on French, German, Portuguese, Spanish, and Dutch. It's not only the languages, but it's the type of document. So we have deconstruct hundreds of permits from Spain, Mexico, Chile, Colombia, France, the French Canadian. So we can have multiple jurisdictions. Also, we have been trained the platform in multiple jurisdictions within those languages. Once you're confirmed that this is the range that you want to do, you just start. And what we're going to be doing here is also other words that I hear early in the presentation. This is about the black box, that's right. So here is our black box. Here is, I can show you how what we are developing here is the AI that allows human intervention. We want to make sure that the user have a way to control and have to alter. So the AI, what it's doing is facilitating the process, it's identifying the information, and the human, everyone that is running the machine, can just go there and modify and adapt. The first step that the machine will be doing is looking for a structure. So basically here you will have your menu with all the information. And now in the document, the machine is identifying the header, the footer, the tables, the figures. Everything that is in blue here, like the headers, is going to be eliminated. So it's the first step that all the structures of the documents are identified, and everything that you don't want it is going to be removed. Again, because we are allowed the human intervention in all single step. If you decide that this is not a header, that this is a equation, it's a figure, it's a footer, you can modify it. Or if you want to actually process, you can discard the selection that the machine did for you. You can identify the tables, and you can scroll through the documents and you can see if there's anything that you want to alter. Otherwise, you just click next and go to the next algorithm. Basically, these are 7 algorithms in the AI that is working. The first one, as I show, is just identifying the structure of the document. So you can remove areas and you can concentrate on the areas that you are interested in. The next algorithm, the one that is running right now, is analyzing the text. Basically, it's extracting, it's an OCR that is extracting every single character and is making sure that it's written properly. So when you have equations, when you have scanned documents that is not high quality, you always can have a look, and the machine will be extracting all the information. Tables are identified by cells right away. The machine allows you to check your original PDF. And anytime you can pull down your PDF and you can see what the machine has extracted from there. And again, you have the option to alter and modify, correct? If you agree and you are okay with the extraction of all the text, you go to the next algorithm. This algorithm is patented by us, and what it's doing is identifying every single citation or condition in your permit, citation on your own regulations. And this is the basis to allow a proper organization of the information. We want to make sure that the text that is extracted is attached to one unique identifier. And that unique identifier is provided by your condition or your citation. And again, here, the machine will do the work to facilitate the process for you, and is identifying those. So you can see here, you have condition A and 1, and you can see all the levels of the citation or conditions in your documents. You easily can see there. Again, you just can modify, you can add it, you can delete the citation if it is right or wrong. So again, you always is all run by AI, but again, the human have the power to intervene and modify or customize to your preferences. So once you review that everything is right, you just move to the next algorithm. Here again is very key to identify and organize the information in a proper way. Here is look at the hierarchy. So basically, it's identifying in those multiple paragraphs that you have conditions, and we say children and parents. So the way the information is organized, you want to make sure that the structure is right. And in this easy document, probably is overkill, and you will say, but definitely when we're talking about long relations, 100 pages, sometimes this relationship go through multiple pages. It's very hard to track. So for the human to make sure that this is related to this statement here, definitely you need to make sure that the machine will help you here and again make all the connections. So you will see by lines where are the connections of this information with the subsetting information. And again, the machine allows you to modify. If you want to, if that was incorrectly picked, you can modify it, you can adjust it as your preference. By the way, every single step on this one, the machine have an option to identify the level of competence. For this step here in requirements, which is the next algorithm, I will show that. In this algorithm here is checking requirements. Basically, the machine is now getting to the core of the document. It's reading every single sentences. It's applying natural language processing, and is going to be classifying every single sentence in your document, and is going to label as a requirement everything that you have a mandate, anything that you have an obligation to fulfill. It's going to identify every statement that is related is a recommendation, it's an optional requirement. If you can do A in lieu of B, so now you have an option as a permittee to do one or another option. Or for the management system, if you have something that you can is optional compliance, like a recommendation of best management practices, the machine also is going to identify that. Everything that is not requirement or recommendation is going to be labeled as description. Those are information that may or not be relevant, so it's going to left aside out of your compliance extraction that we will be doing. So in this case, I was showing you can have the suggestion for review. Basically here, based on all the training that we have been providing to the machine, is going to identify those sentences that I say, hey, maybe I'm not sure about it. So instead of you need to read the entire document, you can only target on those that the machine have a lower competence in the classification. So you can see here the definitions in this permit are all grayed out and labeled as description, while you have in green those that they are requirements. So basically those actions that you need to be doing, the discharge shall not cause a violation. So all those that are requirements are in green. You can see here an example of those that in this case, because there is a kind of a passive description that the discharge shall not result in benthic deposit, so on. The machine was not sure and say, is this sure a requirement? So it's labeled with a little, hey, pay attention here. You always can get, and if you can leave it like that because it's already well labeled. But if you want to help the machine to be trained, you just can confirm, yes, this is a requirement. So now the question mark have been removed. And again, you can see that all the other sentences are being clearly identified. In this case, these sentences here in blue identify those that are optional requirements. So you have the permittee may consider best management practices. So those that they are optional basically will be labeled in blue as an optional requirements or recommendations. Again, when you are confirmed that everything is right here, you just go to the next step. What we're doing here is now even deeper extraction of key information for compliance. Now, what we call the smart fields, basically we start with a frequency and date-driven events. So those events that you need to do weekly or monthly or annually, or those that is by March 31st, are those dates identified. So now the extraction that you do here can go imported right away into a compliance calendar, compliance management system. We added very recently 3 other types of smart fields. Basically, everything that is a regulatory reference is going to be identified. When you have a permit or you have a regulation that refers to another regulation, or a regulation that refers to a standard, ANSI standard, or ISO standards. So all those regulatory references are going to be identified and extracted from that sentence. Very key for operations, for maintenance here, we need to have limits. And the limits is even extracted in 3 different components of the limit. You will be seeing the limit as a value, as a number of what is the limit. You will have the unit of measurement, and you will have the parameter. So you will have the 500 ppm of sulfur. So you will have the 3 aspects of that limit will be extracted. And because we're applying again AI, each of those information will be labeled and extracted. So again, you can export those right away into your operational, to your control systems where you have the limits associated to each of the equipment. And finally, the last smart field is equipment, basically are referring to those units within your operations that is the target of the regulation of the permit. So now, again, if you are in operations that you need to extract that information and you need to get that limit associated to that piece of equipment, now the machine is identified all those for you. Again, if I show you a little in this example here, make a little bigger. So basically, you will see that the maximum of your wastewater treatment here is that you only can release 2 million gallons per day of treated water. Or these permit need to be in a UK sewage treatment legislation. And you have a limit of 70 microliters of chlorine. So all this information is labeled here. So you can see this is a parameter, this is a limit, and this is a unit of measurement. This is a regulatory reference, and this is another limit here. When the equipment identified equipment, like a hydraulic pump, is going to be identified, and this is something that needs to be done daily. So all this information is extracted out again, and those go exactly directly to your management system, can go to your operation, to your setup. You have the Council Directive on the European Union, so you have identified also here. Biochemical, you have your BOD, 15 milligram per liters. Again, you have all of those information identified right away out of one click. And also, here you also can modify. Again, we allows, and the user interface allows for the human intervention. So if this is not a frequency, but is a time-driven event, you can modify those. Or if this is what's picked by the machine, you just can't delete it. And definitely that will be gone. If you want to pick it back again, you just can add that this is a frequency. And now you can add that and make sure that it's every day. Again, the user interface allows you to do that. Once you are happy with that, you just go to the next step and the final step. And this one is combining the information that we already discussed previously. That's right, the machine pick the citations or conditions and then pick the hierarchy. So they know where is the order of every single piece of information in the document. And now again, using natural language processing to identify how the relationship of those informations is. So in order to organize this in a meaningful way and a consistent way. So let me explain you this with 2 examples here. So in this case, the permittee should maintain the following conditions in the sludge pool and have 3 specific conditions. So the machine identified that they need to do A, B, and C, therefore identified as a multiple requirements. So you can see, we can show you at the end of the product, you will have this sentence aligned with this sentence. And again, this one with this one, and this one with this one. When you're doing your compliance management system, you need to make sure that every single action from your permits have to be aligned and associated with a different people, with a different role, with a different maybe department. That's right. So maybe this one first is going to be related to your maintenance, and the second one is going to be more on operations, and the third one is going to be with your service unit on your refinery, whatever. So this is the multiple requirements. Again, because the machine is taking natural language processing data, is going to identify that this sentence is referring and identify like one of the following methods. That's right. But because it's only now identified only as a one action that you can do doing one of the two different methods. So again, now this one is going to be labeled as a one requirement. So again, this is the combination of reading the structure, the condition, the hierarchy, and the actually content of the sentence. In this last example, when the machine identified that this is something like the content of a report, in this case, is the report shall contain the following information, or when the tag or when the log of your operational should contain. So again, the machine will identify this as only one requirement. Once you are happy with this information, you just click the last step, and this is basically putting all the information from the 7 algorithms that the machine apply, and it's going to create a product for you. It can be extracted as an Excel table, or that can be also moved directly through API to your environmental management, your EMIS, or your environmental health and safety software, where you have all your compliance. You can import it to your compliance calendar. So in this case, you will see that everything that is in the original document is kept in this column, which is called the condition text. Every single sentence here is analyzed and labeled, so you can see there is as a requirement or is a recommendation. And then you have actually the product of your output will be in this requirement text. As I show you in this example, you have the permit should maintain the following conditions, and then you have the 3 conditions with the three specific ones that can be associated to different people. And in this case, you have it that they will make, because it was only one requirement, the information from here was merged here. So again, you have a consistent way to extract all the information. Everything from the smart fields are going to be picked up in this condition. If you export at the end of the day, when you wanted to extract the information, you just can download it, and that will give you an Excel file that should be coming here. In your Excel, where's my Excel? Sorry for that. In your Excel that you extracted, basically you have all the information, you have all your legends. So all this information were presented here. As I say, in this column is all the information from your documents. And now you have in this column 4, you have the really relevant information that is for your compliance. And again, everything that was for your smart fields that we discussed are going to be presented in different columns that again can be imported right away into your system, your calendar system, or for different multiple uses. If you are doing an audit, as this became easily your audit checklist. That's right. So you already have extracted information, is organized the information, and is presented in one place. Again, that can be exported to your management system, can be created for audit checklists. You can use this for large merchant acquisitions, so you can really check what is the requirements, what are the due diligence on the merchant acquisition process that you are doing. Have a multiple uses, but definitely is something that you can get consistent, and then you can be very precise on the requirements that you are extracting for your compliance. I believe we are about the 5 minutes left, so I don't know if there's any question. I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Don't think we have questions at the moment. I'm sure they'll keep coming through, so we can carry on, Marcel.
Perfect. So I definitely is, as I say, this is an easy process. And this is one of the most important things that of today, that we will try to answer that question and clarify the answer that question for you. That's right. How is AI helping me? How AI is helping if removing my HNS person from the staff? And there's nothing but that. That's right. We want to make sure that the time of your environmental health and safety coordinator, your operational, your maintenance person, is going to be not dedicated to do a lot of administrative work here. These are cut and paste, and you can spend hours. We have already information from our customers that we are reducing almost 80% of the time that a person dedicate to extract and analyze that information out of the time. So if you can, instead of taking a week to analyze a 150-page document and create all the checklists out of that documents, we can do that in hours. So basically, it's a reduction of the time. And we are not replacing the EHS professional. What we are doing is definitely helping the EHS professional to dedicate the time to more valuable tasks. And we have been an amazing partnership and working with, I guess, from the previous event and panel. We hear Lindsay, we hear Brian working with Jacob, who's all four, and definitely that's what we are doing. That's right. In some other cases, say, hey, you are replacing the consultants. No, we are working in a very good, positive relationship here, when we can apply technologies that reduce the cost, reduce the time dedicated to that, and use the brain of your professionals to more meaningful and valuable tasks. And before we let here, if there is no questions, definitely we have very happy to sponsor this event. There is within the web page of Verdantix, there is sponsors there. You can visit our virtual booth. Definitely there's more information there. There is a white paper, there is some a couple of 2-pagers information. There's a short video that explain how we're doing. Again, our role, we have a very, very important mission. We want to make sure that environmental health and safety professionals get help. So we are in the point that we need to start adopting those technologies to free our time, to get into this new way to do things. We want to help. We want to make sure that we can save your valuable time to more meaningful tasks. And we can provide you with some of this information with this platform. You can help to achieve that.
Marcel, thank you so much for that. Given that in the Slido poll, the audience mentioned automating safety, compliance, and risk management as one of the top use cases for AI, I'm sure they've been able to see the product and also understand, how it works. So I'm sure it was a very interesting and knowledgeable session for them. Thank you so much. Please stay on because we're going to be back with the final panel of today's virtual event. Thank you, Marcel.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Malavika, and see you in the next event pretty soon.